Hmm. I agree. That was better. That one was better. So there was less of really kind of dropping into it than the other one. So the other one, you get here and then you just everything kind of drops. That one was a lot better. You actually, so you came down a little bit, but it was more like that. So right. It also it kind of hung there at the top. What's up, Mac? So what happens in the beginning, you're more relaxed, and then near the beginning of the session, you usually throw the ball well. Also, in the beginning of like tournaments and stuff like that, you start off well, throwing the ball at least. Sometimes your decisions are a little bad, but um, but then as it goes along, then you start trying to help it. So you have to spend most of your sessions just trying to relax and not try to overthrow it. And if you happen to hit it, that's good, but you don't want to try to hit it. That was even better. Because what's going to happen is as you start to pull it down less, that foot's going to get less and less off the ground. So this one right here, the foot got off the ground, but it was very, very slight. Okay. But if you look at this one here at the beginning, see how it gets up in the air? And that's because you don't have time to create that foundation. You have to have a stable foundation for you to deliver the ball correctly. Right, right. So it allows you to really come to a stop gracefully. It was all right. It wasn't bad. You helped it just a little bit. See how instead of releasing right there at the bottom, you just kind of switch more here instead of really kind of here. So by you kind of helping it just a little bit, you just don't catch it as much. Right. There you go. Much better. Eventually it'll get on the ground. That actually is acceptable, but what's going to naturally happen? So as the body as you're throwing the ball, as the body slightly leans forward, that foot's got to come up. But if you can get here, get this foot out in front, you can actually, because you want it to come up a little bit. You don't want it to really kind of drag the toe. Otherwise, you ruin the shoes like I do. There you go. It's not bad. Huh? Yeah, I really like that one actually. So if you look, that was good. Really good. Now you just have to get used to it. If I were to say anything, being really nitpicky, you kind of, and that's why instead of here, it just goes like here. How you been, Mac? I'll bet. Is that a good busy or kind of a? Who'd you see? Who? So I bet.
Yes.
Where?
Dusty and I played golf on Saturday
Oh,
night,
nice. Okay.
and then he came up and we all stood
Awesome. Well, that's cool. Really? How many holes did you play? That's it. I didn't like that one. So what's happening? What I see a little bit of. So if I want to go this way, a lot of times you're here, but then all of a sudden, so instead of this, you're actually slightly in. So you have to make sure you maintain the angle that you start off with. I think that sometimes, it's just as you try to help a little bit, instead of this, it just maybe 1 or 2 degrees, and that's kind of huge. There you go. So you see how that fed, and then even though it was a week 10, if I were to say anything, that got out late, but it's more of the kind of angle that you want to play when you're on a sport pattern. Yeah. Ah. Ah.
I don't know what that was.
That was. See how the shoulders closed immediately? Yeah. So let's try some one-step drills. So we're going to work on trying to keep your foot down and also getting that slide, yeah, and slide leg out in front. So let's say that yours tends to be here. We're going to try to get it out a little bit further so you can actually kind of settle down on it. Yeah. So you can let it swing, let it hover. That gives you, make sure the weight's on this leg, what allows you to kind of get forward and just kind of come through like that. Just like that. And also make sure you're not trying to throw it down lane. You've got to get used to this. Yep. This is where you can also focus on getting more on top of it. So instead of really kind of like this, you want to, okay? So just kind of exaggerate a little bit so that you're more like this instead of really like that. There you go. You should hook more. Yeah. So when your body goes like this, it's just on preview. So when it goes like this, then it's also got to get back here for you to release it. Yeah. Right. So now it's up here. You've got to get it like this and then throw it. Or if I can stay here, then I can go immediately to throw it. That's going to give me more time to really kind of get out of it. The last week or so, your ball has really been snapping up. It's good. I mean, but that was good. I just noticed it's really getting off the spot a little bit quicker. I don't know. Are you going to junior gold? Yes. Yep.
We going in the same spot.
Yeah. So you'll probably see me then. You seem to be more here, and then where a lot of times you're like now you're literally like that. Yeah. I think this particular thing is going to help you a lot. So get your shoulders in a position to do what Alan wants you to do.
I like it.
See how your head kind of stays over your swing plane? And the good thing also, so what they did, I don't know if you ever heard of it, it's called downward angle, where most pros are like this, but amateurs are more like this. So the downward angle here allows you to really kind of get your body over it, and you're going to create a lot more rotation off your hand. Yeah.
Because your shoulder and your arm are going to go.
Yep. And you're getting it off your hand on the way down.
And it's not too much. My wrist goes up, but my hand stays behind it.
Right.
To then come off.
Right. And your shoulder, instead of really kind of doing this, it's actually a lot smoother. And that's going to allow you to get out of the ball a lot better. Yep.
That's probably the smoothest I've seen.
Yeah. No, I agree. So when you practice your one steps, make sure that you don't dip down. Don't think about it too much when you're in full approach, okay? You just want to just concentrate on being smooth. Eventually, those two will come together. So you see how you slide into it, get set, then the ball gets there. Where before you didn't like being you were complaining about feeling really late. Late is actually good.
That's like perfectly on time.
Yeah, yeah. The modern game is more about later timing because you need to get yourself set so that you can deliver a good shot. Yeah, that was still good. That was good. Yeah. On that one, you got here, and then it's just like. So if you can get your core to set this way, yeah. So you're going to be leaned over a little bit, but your core is going to get underneath you. Yeah. Usually it happens when you're here and you're like, just, how are you?
That was interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause that was you heard it, but it doesn't look like it did right there.
Yeah, it's just because you kind of drop down and set it down. So you want to make sure that you're slightly above so you have room to really kind of to unload. You don't think about unloading, you just know it's going to happen. All right, allow the ball to come down, shoulders open. Okay. Yeah. So whenever you get off your hand pretty good, but the ball's not feeding right, most likely you're taking your angle and shutting it down by yeah. There. That's better. That's a lot better. You just have to get used to that. See how you still kind of help it just a touch.
Yeah, I could feel it too.
Yeah.
Like it was right there. Like as I was releasing the ball, I'm like trying to shove it.
Actually, it wasn't that bad considering you kind of put it on the ground, but it still was pretty good. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get it so that the thumb's coming out as it kind of nears your hip. So as it gets here, it should be starting to come out here, and then your fingers will release. Okay. Where a lot of times people will release it more here, and there's no time to really kind of get into it. But if you get here and let it kind of drop, that way your fingers can continue through. And that gives that little extra flip at the back. Like I said, eventually we'll get rid of eventually you'll get rid of that because that actually decelerates your swing ever so slightly. Not really enough to hurt it, but not enough to help it. I didn't mind that.
No, I'm just frustrated at that setting
Why?
because I felt like it should have mixed a little bit more, and
Nah.
it stood up.
Yeah, but
I
yeah.
deserved it.
You'll carry some of them, but So the difference between our elite bowler and your amateur bowler is those light ones. They think, oh, well, that should have carried or could have carried. The good bowler says, okay, I've got to throw it better next time. They take the lucky one, not the lucky ones, the scramblers and put it in their hip pocket. You know, they're really happy about it, but they also they also do what they need to do to keep it deeper in the pocket. Mark this one. What's that? No, this is the one before. I had to mark it. Yeah. Yeah, you can see by that. You can see by the body language it wasn't. Well,
That's what that is. That's
what?
the drift.
Mm, I like that one. I like that one. The overall pace is what I really like on that one. You weren't rushing it. You just. There you go. I like it. A little bit, just a little bit, a little bit. The thing of it is, it's acceptable. I think I think this is a good. We're at a good place where if we just practice. I mean, your pace is excellent right now. If any, I think you're too far left. So if you got to get closer to the track area and just kind of use that friction a little bit. See, the thing with these, the good thing about house shots is you know where the friction is, so you can practice throwing it to the friction and using it. And then just make slight adjustments. Either move your eyes or move your feet. Make a swivel move. You know, be able to be able to create steeper angles in the same part of the lane. Okay. Okay. If you do, purple angle is really the only choice. That's right. Right now, that's the best urethane ball on the market. It's all right.
That was
Yeah.
really strong right there.
Yeah.
I like force extended that.
Yeah. You didn't have time to really kind of get your fingers around it. All right, let's get one more good one. There you go. I actually like that one. I like that one.
Gotta get one strike and then move over.
You might want to ask if we can get 29:30 because we got more people coming.
What's that dessert for you?
Yeah, they just have to turn it on. So that one got up in the air just a little bit, which allows it to really get further down lane. So that was actually really good.
But it really didn't go above my knee.
Nope.
My knee didn't really have to move.
Exactly.
Because once that back knee has to.
A lot of that is that body bends forward, that leg's going to come up. So, what's up? Yeah, ask him if